This is National Work Zone Awareness Week.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I'm Jerry Williams. For over 35 years, I protected Lake County as a state trooper and interim police chief of Gary. This is my home, and keeping our community safe has been my life's work. I've dedicated my career to fighting crime. Now I'm running for sheriff to get the job done and deliver real results. As a crime fighter, not a politician, I'd be honored to have your vote. Paid for by the committee to elect Jerry Williams for sheriff.
Hey, everybody, I'm Jim Dedelow, and the normal, or not even the normal morning host anymore, but I was on yesterday, and we had some discussion by the campaign manager for another candidate. So this candidate for sheriff that is sitting right next to me was mentioned a number of times. So here's the deal. We're here now. I'm going to talk on my time. I can ask whatever I want. And then we'll take a break. As you could tell, we need to take long breaks to play all the spots. And then we will come back with a paid show for Stephen Flores for sheriff. And then we will come back after that and have a paid show of Jason Gore for sheriff. And then this kind of thing is going to go on from now until May 5th. I do want to tell you that I talked at length with Kevin Pastrick, and he and Matt Reardon, and I think maybe Mike Repay and maybe Bob Starkey, they're all going to be here on election night. Joe Cimino, who doesn't know this yet, is sitting over there, is going to help run a scoreboard of all of the elections across the a graphic that's going on our WJOB YouTube channel. So Pastrick has some big plans. I'm not a part of it. Kuziak's not a part of it. Kevin Pastrick has taken that over. Mark that on your calendar on May 5th. Don't go watching Chicago or CNN or Fox or anything. You want to watch your local stuff, you can watch it here on the WJOB YouTube channel. Let's start this right now. Steve Flores, running for sheriff. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Yeah, I've got young talent here running things, and I would normally be at yoga but right now, but I had to come in and handle some of this stuff. But yesterday, we did have some discussion with the mayor of Hammond. He's the campaign manager for one of your main opponents in the sheriff's race. And before I talk about any specifics, I just want to know, what the relationship is like right now amongst several really good candidates. I mean, you guys are all going to the same things. I've asked other ones, hey, do you mind going next to this guy? You go, oh, no, we're all getting along. And I'm like, hey, this is Lake County Sheriff's race. How in the hell is that happening?
No, you're absolutely right. The relationship have been great. We made a decision at the very beginning of this when we all started that, hey, we all have known each other for a long time. We've worked with each other. Every one of them I've worked with just about. I worked with Jason several times on many homicide cases with the Major Crimes Task Force, Deputy Chief Jenkins, Major Williams. So we've known each other a long time. And we all made a promise to each other that when we started this, that we're going to keep it cordial. We're going to keep it professional because we're all friends. We're not going to sling mud at each other. Just go out there running our platform and what we believe in. And hopefully, get across the finish line that it stays that way. And it has been. And we're lucky. And we've said it several times at many of the candidate forums how we wanted to make sure that we showed an example of what a campaign and what an election should be like, without any mudslinging and stuff like that. So, and everyone's held true to that, and hopefully it stays that way. But we're all friends, and we just run on what we believe in.
So you guys are going around to the various candidate forums and running into each other.
Correct.
And you've got Paul Aguilera running yours. Gore's got McDermott running his. Jerry Williams has Dominguez running his. The only my observation there is that you and Gore and Williams and Jenkins and Trakovich, I could see that. You're all cops. This is my job. That's what I got to do, right? We are blessed right now in Lake County to have so many good candidates that are law enforcement people.
Sure.
But you guys aren't necessarily political people, and behind each one of you, there kind of is. And so I just wonder if maybe at a different level that like some of this is surfacing, because I know Roy Dominguez for 40 years and McDermott for 30 years. These guys want to squabble. They want to squirm. They want to make people squirm, and they want to stir it up. Paul Aguilera's been in a lot of campaigns for you across, and he's got, but behind you guys, people are there that I got to believe want to mix it up a little bit. How are you guys able to keep it on the plane where it is right now? It's kind of boring, to be honest with you.
That's a good thing. We made that promise with each other, and the candidates are the ones that run the campaigns, and we set the tone on how we want our people to act. And I think that's held true for all of us. There was some differences in the past, between the mayor and my family, which he talked about yesterday. But him and I spoke a while back and said, you know what, that's behind us. It is what it is. That's water under the bridge. Let's move forward. And I see him all the time, and my family sees him all the time, my brothers and my cousin, and it's cordial. We're professional. We talk to each other. We laugh. I wished him luck on getting the Bears to Hammond, because I know that's what he wants for his residents, and it's exciting for Hammond. So it's been professional, and that's the way we want to keep it. And I think, he's held true to that, and all the other campaigns have too.
So I guess in the political circle, what are they looking at? Like 18% of people voting or something in that area?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, roughly in that number. I think 15% of them, the first thing they talk about is the kind of rift between the Flores family and McDermott and his supporters. That has, I'll just ask you directly, is there anything you want to comment on that further than what you've already said?
No, it's, again, we've been brought up that, if there's differences in the past, you put it behind you, move forward. Because at the end of the day, what good does it do if you're out there fighting and mudslinging? And that's, we got to set the tone and set an example for everybody else under us. We're out there in a political limelight. People are seeing us out there every single day, and it does no good if we're out there acting that way and slinging mud at each other. It doesn't work. It's not a good image. And far too long in Lake County, that's been the norm. And that's what some people want. Unfortunately, that's not what they're getting with us, and they don't like it. So.
Well, I mentioned 3 people behind the candidates, and then, of course, my ratings aren't, they're not helped by the fact that you guys are all getting along. Honestly, I would love to just, and probably I could, but I could probably stir it up pretty good right now. But I think that there are not just those 3 and me that want to see it stirred up, and it's just not happening. And I'm not going to go out of my way to hey, you hear what he said or whatever, but I could. But I guess there's one other thing that has come up in a number of the interviews on the sheriff's race that I've done and talked to people, is that there's a dissatisfaction with what has gone before. Certainly Bunsich is the biggest one, but there's other ones that, kind of surfaced in the sheriff's office, and that I guess now that I'm really thinking about it, you guys are saying we're going to run a clean campaign, and it's really mostly 5 cops going for a political job, so you could probably think that it's going to remain clean. But I mean, are you trying to set the tone for going into the office, or I mean, what's the
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll talk about. I mean, there have been some problems. Now you want to set a new tone. I mean, is this starting in the campaign?
Absolutely, it starts right now. Day one, when I made that announcement that I'm going to run, I'm going to have a professional campaign, and that's where it started. Day one, and that's what I want to bring into the sheriff's department. Bring professionalism and compassion for people, and my job is not to worry about all the background noise that's going on and people wanting to stir the pot. My job is to make sure that people are safe. As the police chief in St. John, that is my main focus, is making sure that the citizens in our town remain safe, and all the other things that I do, that citizens in this county remain safe. And that's my primary focus, and that's going to be my primary focus as sheriff. And you hit the nail on the head. So that sets the tone day one when I started this, to remain professional, and that's the professionalism that I'm going to bring to the sheriff's department.
All right. It's boring as...
Sorry.
It is.
No,
these are not boring, guys. Everyone, I think, or most of the candidates. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break. You're going to hear about 6 or 7 commercials because we are loaded. And then we are going to come back, and it will be the paid portion of committee to elect Stephen Flores as Lake County Sheriff. We're going to go through his background, motivations a little deeper. I wanted to comment specifically on the political nature of it, which I did yesterday. And like I said, I've joked with you when nobody's here. It's kind of boring, and it is. I mean, we expect fireworks in the Lake County Sheriff's race, and we're not getting it. And maybe that is a testament to setting the tone going forward. So we'll take a short break. Joe Cimino and Adriana Alvarez are going to get it all ready, and then we'll be back in the voice and face of the region.
Plumbers Local 210 is building the future, and we're looking for service plumbers to join our team. Our training center invests nearly $500,000 every year to make sure our members are the best in the industry. From a 5-year apprenticeship and an associate degree at Ivy Tech to ongoing certifications in safety and new technology, our plumbers are trained for excellence. Every member is drug tested and licensed for your safety and peace of mind. When you need plumbing work done, make sure you ask for the license. It's your right to ask.
State Senator Dan Darnell was supposed to be different. He promised to fight for Hoosier families and stand with President Trump. He failed. Darnell voted against President Trump's agenda in Washington. That hurt Hoosier families, and he voted to let a Chinese company buy Hoosier farmland, putting China before us. Dan Darnell, opposing Trump, voting like a liberal, letting us down. A disgrace.
President Trump has endorsed conservative Trevor DeVries for state senate, a real Republican who will fight for Hoosier values. Trevor DeVries will stand with Trump, protect Hoosier farmland from China, defeat the liberal agenda, and never let you down. A true America First conservative. The right choice for Indiana. Endorsed by Trump, Trevor DeVries for state senate. Election day is May 5th. Paid for by American Leadership PAC.
This is National Work Zone Awareness Week.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention, and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, business manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its third generation providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Homan Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
When your home needs help, the last thing you need is a faceless corporation or sales-driven franchise. At Myers Companies, we've been proudly local since 1951, born and raised right here in Northwest Indiana. We're family-owned and operated, built on trust, hard work, and integrity. And because we're family, we treat you like family. Your comfort and safety always come first. For HVAC, plumbing, and electrical done right, choose Myers Companies. Local, family-owned, here for your family.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to AM 1230 WJOB and 104.7 FM. If you want to watch the show or watch it later, all you got to do is go to YouTube and type in WJOB 1230. We're going to start right now. It's a political show. It's paid for by the committee to elect Stephen Flores as the Lake County Sheriff. Steve, thanks for coming in today and writing me a check.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
St. John Police Chief.
Yes, sir.
Got a nice little community, voted in some respects, in some categories by the Indy Star and some national publications as the best town in Indiana to live in. You got a nice group that you work with. People care about the town, care about the police department. Nice career going there. All of a sudden you want to be the Lake County Sheriff. Why?
Well, it's a great question. This is something that I prepared for my entire life, for almost 50 years. The day I was born, this is what I prepared for, and this is what I've wanted to do growing up in a law enforcement family. Being around police officers my entire life, and also firemen, public service is what I'm about and what I believe in. And just, the connections and things that I've done in my law enforcement career and the connections that I've made across the entire state, I think with my qualifications gives me a great foundation to be here today where I'm sitting and to go after that position. I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. I love being a police officer. I wake up every day and thank God that I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. And I owe it to him for that. Some days are obviously better than others, but I really, truly enjoy serving the people. And I think with the things that I've done and the things that I've been able to do as the police chief in St. John, I want to take that to the next level.
You say law enforcement family. What do you mean? I'm going to move you over here so you can look at me.
Sure.
There you go.
So my father was a two-time police chief in the city of East Chicago. He retired from there, Gus Flores. He served under 3 different administrations there in East Chicago. My uncle Ralph was a police officer there, retired from the police department as well, but 30-some years. And then my cousin Sam was also a police officer there in East Chicago, and he had 26 years and retired from the police department. So that's I grew up through that my entire life. I remember going as a kid, my dad taking us to the police station and hanging out there and during the summer when we were on summer break that, I wanted to be there. I wanted to hang out there and be with him. And obviously I couldn't go every single day, but we used to go there to the gym and shoot hoops in the basketball gym there that they had at the station, and just growing up around that my entire life. And, obviously back then my dad was friends with a lot of them, and our families would hang out with their families. So it was one big family, and I enjoyed it, and it's what I wanted to do, and just growing up through that.
So your dad's obviously a legendary police chief. I interviewed him many times when he was in there at EC. Well respected in the law enforcement community. But what specifically did you take away from his leadership of what could be kind of a difficult department at times, and a lot of crime in EC at times? What did you take away from him and watching him that would propel you to be the next sheriff of Lake County?
Honesty and integrity. That's what he truly believed in, and also compassionate professionalism. Those are his mottos, and that's what he believed in, and that's what he taught, his officers. And, people that knew my dad always tell me, your dad was one of the most honest people you ever meet in your life. And that's how he treated that position. That's how he treated the police officers. And he cared. He genuinely cared about not only the police officers, but the community. And that's something that I recognized right away as a young kid, his compassion for what he did. And again, those values that we were taught as young kids between my mom and dad transitioned into his career, and transitioned into me, and it transitioned into my career as well too. So again, honesty, integrity, and compassionate professionalism is something that he believed in, and I picked up on those values, and it works.
So you talk about family, and you're I think you're of a kind of a different geographic backgrounds, right?
Yes.
What would that be?
I'm a Puerto Rican.
That's right. Okay,
I wanted you to say half Puerto Rican.
That I wasn't tagged with something there, but so half Serbian and half Puerto Rican, and that's not just you. There's another wing of that family too, right?
Sure.
So there's a whole bunch of, you said it's Puerto Ricans running around. So you've put a Hispanic culture with Eastern European culture, and I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but how the hell does that work?
Oh, it's great. I mean, we had kind of the best of both worlds, growing up in a household with, my grandparents on my mom's side, the Serbian family. We have a huge family, and same on my dad's side and the Puerto Rican side of the family. We're all very close on both sides, and we, family is everything. And growing up in both of those cultures and being exposed to both of them, I mean, I couldn't ask for more. It was great.
You have a cousin that's actually going to be giving a speech, and people are like, all right, Flores, I've heard it. Most, if you're in the game, if you're one of the 18% that's going to vote, you probably already know this, but you have a cousin who runs the baseball team in Crown Point. He's actually going to be giving a speech next week in, I think, the Rotary about the Corn Dogs. And, people know him, and, what's the relationship there? That's your cousin, right?
It is. And my cousin Ralph and I, and my brothers Christian and Teddy, and then my cousin Monica, which is Ralph's sister, we're so close with each other. We basically consider each other brother and sisters. I mean, that's how close we are. And when we grew up in East Chicago, we grew up 2 doors down from each other. So we were together all the time. And obviously my mom and their mom are twin sisters. And then my dad and their dad are brothers. So we were very, very close our entire lives growing up. And I consider them like brother and sister. So we're very close.
So I have the exact same thing on my family, the mom and the 2 moms and the 2 dads, brothers. And I remember one of the Hammond councilmen, what was the guy? I forget his name. But he's like, then I'm like, well, then I married, and my cousin married a Hispanic woman, Ramirez, and then I married her cousin. And then he maps it out, and he goes, that means your kids are triple kin. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it happens in the region if you just stick around long
It does.
enough. But anyways, just to put some more context here, Christian, people are like, especially in the sports world, are going to go, man, I know that name. I mean, he's one of the top referees in the region, if not the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. And was at one time a pretty decent basketball player. Calls a lot of fouls when they don't need to be called. But he's out there all the time. I mean, it's pretty. And of course, he's the father of your nephew who's been drafted, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So give us the details on that.
Yeah. So Christian, he's been a referee for several years now and enjoys it. And
never missed it. Never saw a traveling call he didn't like. But anyways,
he's
go
listening
ahead.
too, by the way.
I know. Yeah. Go ahead.
So, but no, he enjoys it. He loves doing it. It's something he's compassionate about, and with his kids, spends a lot of time with his kids, with his daughter with volleyball and his boys with baseball. And yeah, my nephew Josh was drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. So he's in his first year there. So,
and where is he?
He's in Arizona right now.
Okay, he's in. They got like rookie spring training or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where he's at right now. But yeah, I mean, he's very involved in sports and in the community and Cherville baseball, and he knows a ton of people from there, and so yeah. And then my younger brother Teddy lives in Crown Point, and he's involved in a church, in a Serbian church, and knows a lot of people through there. So, yeah, we get around.
So geographically, obviously, coming out like a lot of people out of the northern communities, you've spread to St. John, your brothers in Crown Point, Christians in Cherville. Do you think knowing the whole Lake County gives you a leg up on people?
I think so. I think we have roots, obviously in East Chicago still. We still know a lot of people there and still have family there. And then again, moving to the Tri-Town area has given us an opportunity to grow there and meet a lot of people and become friends with a lot of people there. So yeah, it's one of the things that I have said in some of my speeches, that I grew up in EC, and I've also have ties to South County, so I know the best of both worlds and both sides of the county.
So let's talk about the office itself, okay? Obviously, we've talked about your law enforcement capabilities, and those are unquestioned at this point. The pedigree of a cop. But there's two sides to being the police chief of EC, like your dad was, mm-hmm. and there's two sides to being the sheriff of Lake County. And one is that you're law enforcement. You got to make those decisions. How are we going to go about this bust? What are the logistics of an actual raid or whatever? And how pursuits, all that stuff needs to be decided on a law enforcement basis. But as important, or even more important at times, is, I don't know how many hundreds are in the Lake County Sheriff's Office, but you're managing a lot of stuff, including the jail.
Correct.
I mean, it becomes an administrative position as much as a law enforcement position. How do you plan to tackle, or what in your background prepares you for that part of this job?
So obviously, being the police chief in St. John, I've been the police chief there for 7 years now. I'm the second longest serving police chief in the county. So that has given me a great experience on running a budget, running the police department administratively, working with the State Board of Accounts, working with the council and elected officials. So those are a lot of things that the sheriff has to do. And my current roles that I sit on, I'm the president of the Northwest Regional SWAT team. I am also the president of the South County Crash Reconstruction Team, which is they investigate fatal crashes, and I'm one of the co-founders of that.
Do you see Goddard?
I do, all the time. I do, yeah. And then
goofy dude.
Yeah, I see him all the time. See him out there a lot. And then the District 1 Law Enforcement Council, which is 5 Northwest Indiana counties. I'm the president of that organization and the vice president of the Indiana Association of Chiefs of Police. So within those organizations, there's a lot of administrative duties that you have to do. And more importantly is those positions that I fill, I'm chosen and elected into those positions by my peers. So the chiefs of all those organizations and the law enforcement executives of all those organizations pick who's going to fill those positions. So obviously they see something in me, and they felt there's something good in me to be able to fill those spots in all those organizations. So it gives me the opportunity and ability to work administratively, not only locally in my department, but I work with all departments every single day, not only in Lake County, but across the entire state of Indiana. I go downstate. I testify on bills when they're in session, not only for law enforcement, but for the better quality of life for people. So again, those are all administrative duties that the sheriff has to do and has to bring everybody to the table and make sure that things are getting done like they need to. And again, like I said, I'm not just stuck in my little circle in St. John. I've been on the Major Crimes Task Force. I've investigated many homicides. So I was a canine handler. I was a detective. So I've got experience all the way around the table, and coupling that all together gives me the ability to make sure that I understand what's going on and what needs to be done, and working with people and bringing other people to the table gives me the opportunities of giving me a very strong foundation to build on and make it even better.
So when you look at your leadership style, and quite frankly, in the county of Lake, there probably isn't a bigger position that requires more direct leadership or should. What would you characterize your leadership style as?
Collaborator. I am big. I am big on working with other agencies and bringing everybody together, because we're better together than we are by ourselves. In those positions that I just spoke of, and the things that I've done and been able to do, and again, creating that crash team that's 10 agencies now. I started that with the chief in Cedar Lake at the time was Bill Fisher. Him and I started that, brought everybody to the table because there was a need. So we got it done. We created it. So again, collaboration is something I'm big on. And I believe bringing people together and working together, not only just law enforcement, but for the community with faith-based organizations. I think I'm great at that. I've been proven to be able to do that. Again, otherwise my peers wouldn't elect me to fill those positions. So I think bringing that to the sheriff's department and knowing those skills that I have and bringing that together, I think we could do some great things, and we're going to do some great things and there's been a lot of great police work throughout this entire county that's happened throughout the entire state of Indiana. And as you mentioned, St. John is the second safest town in Indiana, just named that. So bringing that in, I'm proud of the officers because it's about them. It's the work that they do and the things that they do. They suit up every day and go out there and risk their lives and make sure people are safe. And I want to take that and make Lake County one of the safest counties in the country.
So that is, I guess that lends directly, you kind of covered some of this, but, we looked at your qualifications and, it's almost across the board. I mean, you've gotten a little more comfortable with it, but you're a cop and don't necessarily want to talk about yourself, but now you're out here and you have to.
Right.
That's part of the game, and I get it. As a matter of fact, you're telling me I've known you for a long time. You're telling me a bunch of stuff I didn't know because you never talk about yourself, but you have to.
Right.
This is what people are listening right now, and more than half of our people that listen vote, and you got to let them know. So we went through all that. We went through your background and family, law enforcement. Now let's talk about what you want to do. So this is I remember like 450 people in the department, if I remember, interviewing sheriffs, or 450, 500, something like that. Mm-hmm. You got this jail. You've got law enforcement. There's always disagreements over where the sheriffs should be. Should they just be in unincorporated? Should they be just going into Gary? Should they be going and patrolling Hammond and everywhere else? What do you want to see the Lake County Sheriff's Office be?
Well, that's a very good question, and there's a lot that I want to do. First and foremost, as I said, I want to make sure that we bring everybody to the table and we're working together. I want us to rejoin the Metro Homicide Unit that the prosecutor's office has. The Sheriff's Department is currently not part of that. but I want to work with Prosecutor Carter and establish and keep that good relationship that we have and work with them on that. We're going to do a full evaluation of the Sheriff's Department, from the jail to the police department to animal control. The jail, it's not unique just to Lake County. Those are issues that are happening there are across the entire country. And there's other jails throughout the state because, again, I work with a lot of the chiefs and sheriffs. Now in my current role as the vice president of the Chiefs Association, so I speak with a lot of them, and being downstate, working with the Sheriff's Association, it's nothing unique to Lake County. But with that said, there's a lot of improvements that can be made. And we are going to go in there, do a full evaluation. We're going to have jail staff to be able to have a seat at the table to let us know what needs to be done, and we're going to do everything we can to make the improvements there because, of course, there needs to be improvements made. The retention and recruitment for the jail as far as the corrections officers, we need to work on that and keep working to get their pay raised, which they have over the last couple of years. But they're the unsung heroes of the Sheriff's Department. We got to take care of them. The animal control, again, that's another thing. We got to take care of our animals. We got to make sure that when they come into our facility, they have the proper facilities, they have the proper care and treatment that they need, and making sure that our facility is safe and up to par. So, there's some improvements we're going to make there. And then the police department. One of the biggest things that I've done, and as my role in police chief, is the crisis intervention program that we have in St. John. One of my officers is trained in that, and he trains other police officers in that. And basically what that is these officers are able to respond to incidents with people that are having mental health crisis, and they help them. They provide resources to them, and the goal of it is to give them long-term care, long-term help, so that way we're not dealing with them every couple of days, because that's what we were doing. The answer back then was jail, and jail's not the answer for these folks that are suffering from mental illnesses. So we have to do a better job in making sure we respond to those incidents to help those people in a long-term care. That's something I'm passionate about that I'm working on now. I've already worked on, and we need to keep moving forward with that and make it even better. Another thing is building the gaps with our youth, making sure we build relationships with our youth. The technology part of it, we got to stay on top of that because that changes every single day, like I'm sure it does in here. There's new stuff that comes out all the time, but we got to be smart about it, making sure we're spending money smart and making sure we're not just wasting it and that's being utilized in the technology that we get.
Yeah, just to clarify with my producer, I think it's 25 minutes, not 20. So I think we have 5 more minutes. If that's yeah, that's right. So let's one of the things that you mentioned in there is dealing with mental illness and maybe getting out and they call it community policing. But as you well know, we have the award-winning Veteran Show on Friday, and there's a lot of veterans that are listening right now, and they have the Veterans Court, way higher percentages of mental illness in the veterans community. Is there anything that's in what you want to do that, specifically recognizes this?
Absolutely. So the Sheriff's Department already employs mental health professionals. Not only do they help the folks inside the jail, but they also take in veterans. If somebody walks in off the street and needs assistance, they help them. And I think that's a great program, and we need to take what they do because those folks do a tremendous job. But that's something I would definitely like to expand and make it even better. I recently visited the Operation Combat Bike Saver, which their name now is Charlie Bravo, I believe. It's in Crown Point. And I spoke with the gentleman there, Jason, who runs that program, and he helps veterans. They bring veterans in and let them build a bike and kind of get their minds off things. And I talked to him about partnering with him to help veterans out, and that's exactly what he does. So I want to make sure we have programs like that and build a relationship with him to help our veterans. Speaking of relationships, what is your relationship with Bernard Carter, the longtime Lake County prosecutor here? I've known him for a very long time. My dad knew him. My mom worked in his office for many years. I have a great relationship with him, and I look forward to working with him. I think he does a great job. Him and I have worked together for many, many years now, even before I became chief. As a detective and working on the Major Crimes Task Force as the deputy commander of that organization, obviously I worked very closely with the prosecutor's office and all the homicide cases that we work. So, yeah, I have a great relationship with him, and I look forward to expanding that as well, too, and work with him closely.
So, we covered a lot. A lot of people don't know who you are, or, God, I heard that Flores name, where is that? We put it into context, I guess. So, I guess the last question is a little bit covered in a previous segment, but you're a cop, and you're running around going to all these political fundraisers and all of this political stuff. How have you dealt with that?
You're right. I am the police. And like I said, I don't lead from behind a desk. I still suit up. I still get out there. I still stop cars. I make arrests. I take reports. I haven't been doing as much lately because I've been busy on the campaign trail, but I enjoy being out there and being with the officers and interacting with them because I get a better understanding of what's going on out there to make better decisions. So I miss that. I miss being out there, and I will be back out there when this is done and over. And God willing, when I win, I'm going to be out there in the community. I've been having a blast with this. I really have. I've met some great people, a lot of great folks out there. It's been a lot, which I've expected, but I'm enjoying it. I really am, and being able to connect with all these different people and these folks has been fun. It's been stressful at times. My family and my wife has been a champion. She's been by my side the entire time. You
might as well say her first name.
Gail, yes.
Gail, okay, there you go.
Yeah, so she's been by my side and been my biggest champion. My mom, my daughter, Alexis and Roberta, and my brothers and cousin. So it's been great. They've been by my side and kept me going through all this, and I can't thank them enough. But it's been a blast. We got, 12 days left to go, and so we're looking forward to getting across that finish line.
See that camera over there?
Yes.
We're closing it down. You got a minute and a half. Just what do you want to say to the people of Lake County about why you want to be your next sheriff? Go ahead, look into this digital
Sure.
camera right there. Yeah.
This is something I mentioned earlier. This is something I prepared for my entire life. This is what I wanted to do as a young kid. I'm living my dream. Not only as a police officer, I was a firefighter, so public safety is in my blood. My current role and the experience that I have on a local level, my entire career has been here in Lake County. I've worked for the people. I work for the people downstate. I go down there and testify on bills, advocating for folks here in this county. I want to make sure that the experience that I have throughout my career transitioned into the sheriff's department. And like I said, there's been a lot of great police work that has been done in this county and through this entire state. So I want to take the good work that we are doing and expand that and make it even better. And I promise you, my dad always told me when I became a police officer, he said, there's two things you never want to tarnish, and that's the badge on the left side of your chest, and more importantly, the right side, the name on the right side of your chest. And I will hold to that, and I will never let him down. God bless his soul. And I want to make sure that I serve the people with compassion and professionalism like he taught me, with honesty and integrity, and that's what you're going to get out of me. I'm a career law enforcement officer, and I'm here to serve the people and make sure that we do what we need to do to make sure you people stay safe. And I ask for your support.
That was paid for by the committee to elect Stephen Flores sheriff. Thanks a lot. Stick around. We'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, powers health.
Summer's coming, and Deep River Water Park is taking applications for all positions. We have jobs both inside and out for all ages that offer great benefits. Free admission on your day off for you and a friend. Free uniforms, paid training, make new friends, flexible scheduling, and more. To apply, just go to deepriverwaterpark.com and you're on your way to a summer of rewarding fun.
Deep River Water Park. It's simply splash-tastic.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
It's gold rush time at Albert's. Oh, looky here! Oh, those are gonna fetch a pretty penny.
Who's gonna buy them from us?
I'll buy that gold from you.
What did you say?
I said I'll buy that gold from you, and I'll give you top dollar.
That sounds great.
It's gold rush time. We will see you at Albert's.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Polish?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for Polish?
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome in. My name's Jim Dedelow here at WJOB AM 1230, 104.7. If you want to watch what we're about to do, it is a paid political show. You can watch it live on YouTube on the WJOB 1230. Just type that in. If you're listening at a different time, that it'll be up there as an archived podcast, but you can get it nonetheless. We're going to start it right now as the paid portion of this political show, paid for by the Committee to Elect Jason Gore. Sheriff, how you doing, man?
How are you? I'm doing very well.
Good. How do you like doing all this stuff? Move on up. You're going to have. It's going to be a little uncomfortable because you're between me, two of the strongest personalities in Lake County, and you're going to want to look at either one of us. But so, how's it going, man?
It's going well. I've been campaigning now for just over a year. It's been a real adventure. I've learned a lot. You know, there's something to be said about being in your 50s and challenging yourself to something new. And certainly running for political office has been. I've enjoyed the opportunity, and I've met a ton of great people. And, I'm looking forward to the outcome of this election, for it to be over, but it has definitely been a ride.
Jason Gore, I have known you for a very long time as the head of ATF here in the Chicago area and kind of a high-level Fed position. But certainly behind the scenes, not always out front. I mean, if we had a problem, like specifically with the ATF, I knew who to contact. And since you are from Hammond, we were able to get information that maybe we weren't always able to get. But at the very core of it, you're federal law enforcement and have been a leader in that, but maybe kind of quiet and behind the scenes. Now you're up and out front every day running in this campaign. You've got a well-known person to your right, which we'll introduce here in a second. Mm-hmm. How is that for you personally to make that adjustment from Jason Gore, the ATF agent, to Jason Gore, the candidate for Lake County Sheriff?
Well, for me personally on that, so, being an ATF agent, we are the quiet professionals. And, a lot of the work that we do is very covert. And, we're out there partnering with people, trying to push our mission, which is, fighting violent crime. And we only emerge at the end of a case, and then we come out. And it is true that, being a federal agent, we are restricted from the things that we can do in the public arena. But coming out, it's been great because I no longer have to wear that heavy coat of being a federal agent. I'm able to have conversations and share experiences with people all across the region and talk about things that I have done at a different level. Some of the behind the baseball kind of stuff, in cases and witnesses and stuff like that. So it's been an easy transition. It's been a fun transition.
So at the core, though, a lot of people don't know exactly how high up you had gotten in the federal law enforcement, but you're a Hammond guy.
Yes.
Let's run through that a little bit before we bring in the Hammond mayor. But what part of Hammond did you grow up in?
I grew up on Conkey Street. 614 Conkey is my address. Was my address growing up. I lived there from the age of 8 years old to the age of 17. I was raised by my mom, single parent. She was a bartender. Worked very, very hard to raise me. My father was not in the picture. I went to Lew Wallace, Eggers, and Hammond High. And then I got my bachelor's degree from Purdue Northwest. And so, at the core of what I am is I am a Hammond guy. In 1998, I became a Maryville police officer, and we relocated to Maryville. I was 25, and that was the beginning of my law enforcement career.
Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott, thanks a lot for coming in.
2 days in a row.
Again, yes. Yeah. Thank you. Most people know you as a mayor and kind of running your own show and at the top of whatever you do. Now you're a campaign manager for Jason Gore.
Right.
Why?
Because I believe in him. He's the right guy for the job. And I want to make sure that we have a qualified person that could tackle violent crime elected to the Lake County Sheriff's Office. And that's what Jason did with the ATF is he went after the cases that were more violent than would usually be handled by municipal police departments. He went after the worst of the worst, and that's what we're seeing in Lake County is killers that are coming through causing mayhem. And obviously we have great local police departments. Like in Hammond, I think it's the best police department in the state, but having a great Lake County Sheriff's Office led by a crime fighter is only going to make Lake County safer. And that's good for all of us. That's why I support Jason.
Specifically to Hammond, with Jason Gore as sheriff, what does that do for keeping the streets safe in Hammond?
I think, all due respect to the Lake County Sheriff's Office, I think that we could do more in Hammond. I know the Lake County Sheriff's Office blitzes in, once a month, comes in on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday night. They fly the helicopter all over and they arrest bad guys, and I appreciate that, but I'd like to see more, personally. I think that the Lake County Sheriff should shift our focus a little bit from the unincorporated areas and focus on the urban areas where the crime really happens, so that we could keep places like Highland and Munster and Griffith safer. If we quell the violence in the urban area, it's only going to make the suburban area safer. And, I think a lot of the sheriffs of the past have focused too much on the rural areas where there's no crime at all. It's like, seriously, there's no crime there, and we have cops patrolling it like crazy, and we know where the crime is in the region. And I don't think that sheriffs of the past have paid enough attention to the urban areas, and I know Jason will.
What has your role been with Jason's campaign?
I'm like, the campaign manager, but we have a great team. So it's not like I'm making all the decisions or doing all the work. That's not the case. I feel like a lot of what I'm doing is helping Jason as a person, because he's going through a lot right now, and I've been through it. And I think that that's invaluable for a guy like Jason, is to hear from me, like, you're doing it perfectly. This is normal. So I think in a lot of ways I'm sort of the Jason talker. In a lot of ways I talk to him and tell him he's doing great or make suggestions to him. I think that helps him. I hope so anyway.
So let's come back to you, Jason, which you love being the spotlight. I've seen you at a number of fundraisers, parties, and you've been out there for a long time. But it's a transition, and just to be straight, I kind of laugh at you and laugh at some of the other candidates, but mostly you, because you've been I've known you for a long time, a ham and high guy, and but you have made the transition from behind the scenes to out there every day, especially near the end. How has Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott's involvement helped you make that transition?
Sure. I have 27 years in law enforcement. Professionally, I am a lawman, and I have operated at a very high level for those years. I've never been a politician. And, in order to be the sheriff, you have to run as a politician. And when you're looking to build a team, you try to find people that have the experience, to know how, that can help put you on the X and give you good, solid advice. So as I was building my team, I had an opportunity to start meeting with Mayor Tom, and we formed a partnership. He endorsed me. Then as the campaign progressed, we had pretty much outkicked our coverage as far. It was my wife that was.
Got to give a name, dude, or you're
my
not
wife Tracy
sleep
Gore.
Tonight. There you go.
Yes, my wife Tracy Gore, who is our treasurer, but she was also my campaign manager, and we had worked it as much as we could. So I needed some more help, and Tom, agreed to become my campaign manager. And to be frank with you, the campaign has gone 180. We've begun to earn more money. We've been more strategic in our planning and more tactical in our actions. And we have built a very robust social media team, and it's all coming together in a way that I had hoped and imagined, but I didn't know how. So that's what it is. When you're building an organization, you bring in the best that you can find, and then you listen to what they say.
So I'm going to go through, many of you don't know, federal agents, you're not supposed to know them, but I'm going to try to go through some more about Jason. And if you have a specific question or something you want to ask Jason, 219-845-1100. This is not the time that we ask Mayor McDermott, and we did that yesterday. So we'll go, if you want to call and talk to him, 219-845-1100. I want to go back.
Sure.
Okay, you're living on Conkey Street. I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. At that time was a pretty rough area of Hammond. It was a rough area.
I mean, it was my home. It's I would say it was a lower middle class, blue collar neighborhood. You know, a lot of
bars.
A lot of bars.
What bar did your mom bartend at?
So my mom bartended at a number of them. She worked at the Pines Tap for a while. In Hammond, in Cal City, she worked at a place called Timeout Pub. For a long time, she worked there. And then also in Cal City, she worked at a bar called Wilbur's. And those are the three main places. As I got a little bit older and as she got a little bit older, she began to work at Walgreens. She was a cashier at Walgreens in Cal City for several years. And then she retired as a cashier at a grocery store in Winfield, Amelia's.
So she moved out South County.
She did. She moved to Maryville when I got hired by Maryville PD.
Okay. So you guys stayed together and lived together. So is it just you and your mom, or is there a sibling?
No, I have no siblings. I do have a stepfather. He came into my life when I was 17. His name is Wally. He's been great to me. Just what you would expect from a father. I wish he had come to my life a little bit earlier. He could have put a thumb on me when I needed it.
You've turned out all right, Jason. I hate to. I mean, seriously, you did a great job. Your mom did a great job.
She did, and sadly, my mom passed in October of 25. So she's not going to be here to vote for me. But the last picture I have with my mom was at one of the parades. So, yeah.
In the old days, she could have voted for you. But anyways,
we're cleaning that up.
Yeah. All right. So I don't mean to go directly at that, but people are going to ask, and they're thinking, oh, wow, he's grows up with a single mom who obviously had to work her ass off, grew up on Conkey. My cousins were right around the corner on Glendale Parkway. We were not allowed to go down Conkey Street where you live, to be honest with you, which made it every time we had a chance, we would go down Conkey.
Why not?
Because all the bars were there. But I'm just going to ask you directly, and I don't want to go, but what did you learn from your mom? And, what did you learn from her and going into your career? You're obviously very successful running for sheriff. I mean, there had to be some lessons. If it's just you and her, she's the one. What did you learn?
Really, the biggest lesson that I learned from my mom was work ethic. My mom had to go to work whether she was sick, whether, she didn't feel well, she was having a bad day, she didn't have a pension. She had to go to work to earn money daily in order to take care of me. And when you see that grind in somebody, and that has been really the key to my success, is my willingness to grind. Whether I'm working a case, whether I'm the resident agent of the Maryville field office, or I'm the assistant special agent in charge, it's that daily grind. It's getting up every day and, getting dressed, going to work, leading as best as you can, and doing the things that you have to do to help the organization and to further the mission. So it's really my mom's work ethic is what she really put into me. And
when you were at Maryville, that was your first law enforcement job?
It was.
And what did you learn there?
So, I did 2 years as a patrolman. I get promoted to detective, and then they send me off to the DEA task force, where I worked just over 4 years undercover with DEA. I learned a lot. From that, kind of spurred my ability to get hired by the feds. It was a great experience, and really what you learn, at the local level is how to communicate with people. You go to, difficult calls all the time. Nobody has a great day and says, hey, let's call the police. It's always you get called to homes in their worst moments, and bad things are happening, and you have to go and try to find a safe way to resolve these and communicate with people that are, sometimes intoxicated, always emotional, and it's very, very difficult. So being able to communicate with people, read people, have difficult conversations with people really, really helps.
So you're talking Hammond, obviously Hammond guy on Conkey Street, obviously working and living in Maryville. I mean, do you feel as if you have a full understanding of all the areas of Lake County?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to think. So, as a field agent, the Maryville field office covers 12 counties in northwest Indiana.
So you went from the Maryville Police Department to the Maryville ATF office, basically.
Well, I did 4 years where I worked in South Bend.
Okay.
I worked homicides out of the Metro Homicide Unit. It was the St. Joseph Metro Homicide Unit, and I learned a ton in those 4 years. I had a chance to work with them, and then after 4 years, I came back to Maryville as a field agent.
219-845-1100. I know we got some calls. Please keep them brief. Ask a question and then hang up. If you got something you want to say, do it on one of the regular shows. Hey, once again, you are on the air. Go ahead. You're on with Jason Gore for Sheriff.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment in regard to the sheriff's race in its entirety. What a bunch of good candidates we've got, class acts. However this comes out, we're going to have a first-class individual in that office. And I just want to wish best of luck to Jason, and I'll hang up.
All right. Thanks a lot. You know, he comes at something that, I mean, the mayor and me, we've kind of made our names on just stirring things up and maybe kind of going at each other and stirring it up with other people. You're not doing that, and it's kind of boring, but it is what it is, and it's a little bit different. It's always been a Lake County Sheriff's race of contentiousness and rumors and that kind of stuff. You guys run a pretty clean race. Why is that?
Well, you know, I mean, it's not by design. I can only be myself. And it's my job to go out and sell myself and talk about my experience, my training, the things that I've done, and then my overall vision for the sheriff's department. I have to separate myself from all of my opponents, but it doesn't mean that I have to do it with vitriol, and I don't have to spread rumors.
You don't have to bring Conkey Street out of you.
Well, I mean,
sorry.
I am learning that, in politics, it is a bit of a full contact sport. But hopefully we don't have to go there.
So when you left the ATF, what was your final level?
I was the assistant special agent in charge of the Chicago Field Division.
So that covered how much geography?
So I had all of northern Indiana. So from Indy north. So I had Fort Wayne, South Bend, Maryville. Those were the 3 field offices there. And then I had all of central Illinois and all of northern Illinois.
So I'm getting to the point where we talk about the actual sheriff's office and what your plans are and so forth. But before that, you're a federal, local police officer, federal agent. You're a law enforcement guy. You said that at the beginning.
Yes.
Big part of this job is the administrative part of it.
Sure is.
And perhaps even more than the law enforcement, because you're not going to be able to be out there all day pulling people over, that kind of stuff. Tell us what your qualifications on the administrative side are.
Sure. So, I have been in leadership and law enforcement for the last 9 years, if you count my years as the resident agent in charge of the Maryville Field Office and my years as the ASAC, or the Assistant Special Agent in charge. In those roles are similar but different. As a RAC, I led one group.
RAC is Resident Agent in Charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the RAC, I led one group, the Maryville Field Office, and I was responsible for all personnel matters, all operations, the mission. I was in charge of the budget for the office. I was in charge of the HIDTA task force that ATF has there. So, I had a big plate, but it still allowed me to do my job, to lead the men and women that worked for me, and to also go out into the field. So, ATF Maryville does 150 to 180 operations annually in Northwest Indiana, and most of them are undercover and covert, and I was probably out on 95% of them. Out there working with my agents and task force officers, giving them the top cover that they need so that they can go out and do their job. And if necessary, I was out there with them. So if things went bad, I was there. I was always out in the streets working. It was great. As far as being the RAC was my favorite position with ATF, because I got the lead. I had administrative side, but then I was still out in the streets.
So that's kind of what this job is, sheriffs. I mean, it's 2 sides to it.
Sure.
Actually, the third side's the political side, but that is what you kind of learned with the man to your right. But so you come in, you get elected. What do you want to do with the sheriff's office?
Sure. So, first of all, I want to build a world-class sheriff's office first and foremost, that is professional, ethical, nimble, and ready to make Lake County a safer place to live and work. We're going to be hard on crime, but smart on policy, meaning we're going to build internally, the things that we have to do good, smart, hard policing. I'm going to pivot to an intel-led policing model, making sure that we're using criminal intelligence to guide our actions. It can also allow us to set crime-fighting strategies and help improve our partnerships with all of our state and local partners. So, crime is different in Hammond than it is in Sherrillville, than it is, in Crown Point, right? But they all have problems. And if we can identify through criminal intelligence the things that are happening, then we are able to partner with each of these communities and help them attack those problems. And then we can measure it. So if it's our goal in Hammond, for instance, to, reduce shootings by 5%, right? And so we just, base the information off of, prior information. And if we hit our mark, we're doing things right. And if we don't, then we need to reevaluate and find out what we're doing between Hammond and in the sheriff's department. That's really what I want to build. Intel-led policing, it is the future of law enforcement. And I have worked in 26 states, and I've worked with hundreds of law enforcement agencies. And I've seen really good departments and really bad departments and what the consequences are for both of them.
It sounds like you've brought in something that we really can't go into, but it sounds like you brought into the technology and the data and the accountability through measurement, really even all the way to some AI. Are you comfortable in that high-tech world?
Yes. We started, Chicago ATF started a crime gun intel center with the Chicago Police Department, and we use a lot of that technology today, and it works. But it's enough to have data, but you got to have information. So it takes analysis, and information is only good if it's accurate and timely. And everyone's got manpower issues in law enforcement right now, and helping officers put themselves on the X really helps. It helps them and it helps the public, and we're using our resources as smart as possible.
Mayor, you have done a lot in your career, but you've hired a number of police chiefs, and I can say with all confidence that you have done a really good job at hiring your police chiefs. Now you're getting behind a guy for sheriff. What is it that you're hey, can you guys turn that down, please? Thank you. So what is it that you want to say that you've seen qualities, and sometimes it was a little bit of a surprise on who you put in charge and so forth. But all of a sudden, you're behind Jason Gore for sheriff. Of course, he's a Hammond guy originally. What do you want to tell people that you saw that you got behind him?
I have 200 Hammond police officers, and I think they're top quality officers. I want a Lake County sheriff that my officers can look up to, okay? And that my chief of police could look up to. And I think I found the guy, Jason Gore. And I think Jason Gore is the kind of guy that could go across Lake County, and all the chiefs in Lake County and all the officers in Lake County would look up to him and say, that's a great sheriff. That's a person I want to work for. And that's why I'm supporting Jason Gore.
Jason, here's the moment. You see that digital camera up there? Yes. Yeah, just relax for a little bit, but you got about a minute and a half. Just look in it and talk to the people of Lake County.
Sure. Listen, I have a very robust plan to reform the sheriff's department, to make it a sheriff's department that you can be proud of. And you're going to regain the trust, not because of my words, but because of the actions. I'm going to protect those that serve and protect. We're going to develop the men and women of the sheriff's department. I'm going to be a leader that they can be proud of and follow. And equally, I'm going to be a leader that you can also be proud of. Public safety is the bedrock of the success of any community. And Lake County right now has a lot of great opportunities for businesses coming into the region. This is a very, very unique time, and making sure that we have a stable sheriff's department that is respected and there's no controversy in there is paramount, and making sure that we're doing the right things because it's the right thing to do. So I ask for your vote, and I ask for your support. So it's Jason Gore for sheriff. If you want to learn a little bit more about me or see any of my speeches, you can go to any of my social media pages, but certainly Facebook is Jason Gore for sheriff.
Right on the dot. Thanks a lot for coming in, give me a check, and using WJOB. There'll be a number of these throughout the next 8-10 days. So just stay tuned on the voice and face of the region.